It's just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be responding to a video posted to the Keffals YouTube channel, since being made private. Although it might not be at time of recording or at time of being made public, you never know, people do change their minds. I had to reach out to another creator called Chris the Narc because I'd heard a rumour on his Twitter that he may have had access to it or obtained it. So I reached out to him in a somewhat professional manner. Hello fascist, how is Nazism today? Did you by chance grift your lobcock hands onto Amazeball's Queen Keffley Poops video? And of course if he didn't share I was going to batter his prostate. Yes, and of course thank you. He very kindly shared the video, and because I'm a boomer I had to screen record this with OBS. Now the reason this video is so interesting to me is because it is a direct continuation of the Vaush lolly nonsense. Keffals' voice in the discussion, and others that defended Keffals. We here on the internet are quite interested in context, so of course, we're going to watch it. And since you've made it private, we should cover as much of this as we can.
Hey everyone, I wanted to give my thoughts about everything now that time has passed, and I kind of stepped away for a bit to think about everything that happened over the last 2 months.
Owing to OBS being a bit of a fail, you're going to notice a hamster. That would be my former hamster Socks. She is adorkable, get over yourselves. This is obviously a serious subject, but she is required for a palate cleanse. Now, Keffals mentioned taking time away. Yes, because Keffals has a cycle. Starts shit, milks shit, manufactures more shit, gets clarted for it, and then buries head in sand until enough time passes. To then rinse and repeat the cycle. You're like Anne Boleyn with a new diet. You just need to start journaling and making poetry on Wattpad for a complete circle.
I'm talking, of course, about the situation that went down with Vaush. So to those who aren't aware, the situation that happened in February was Vaush accidentally leaked a folder full of images that he should not have had on his computer, and it created a living hell.
It did, and it should have only been a problem for Vaush. But Tipster, yourself and others went to bat for Vaush, defending Lolly, defending the context around Lolly. It got quite amusing really. And then a wider picture was inserted about how it affects, for example, when you pointed out the trans community, which is something Tipster did as well. And people were like, you attention-seeking brats are now going to get it. You're getting rinsed, reamed, clarted, and slapped about because you inserted yourselves on the wrong side of history.
For him, for me, for anyone in his general proximity.
Do remember though, you would have gotten no attention at all. You could have carried on your merry little stocky knockout life had you simply not inserted yourself into the conversation.
I'm putting this video out to just give my thoughts. There's no script. I'm just talking from the heart here about how I feel about Vaush and how I feel about everything now that all of this is played out.
Yes, adorable, you don't have a scriptwriter for a video on a channel where you barely make any content in the first place. Shocker. You say played out. You are quite right. It has, for the most part, dried up as a subject. But that's because Vaush has stopped addressing it. It's because there's not much more that can be said about it. Vaush is still losing subs, but Vaush is still getting phenomenal views. Vaush knows this will eventually stop. He did in 1 month though lose 18,000. So Vaush knows he has to play it smart to keep the audience at the very least. As far as the Keffals YouTube channel goes, you're just losing subs but getting views. I guess the only consolation is you might make a little bit of money out of it.
A lot of people said that I needlessly inserted myself into all of that drama that happened, and I want to talk about that because I partially agree.
Partially? You should entirely agree. This video would be a lot shorter if you simply conceded the point. You were not necessary to the discussion. You took a side to make a grandiose point. By doing so, you made the grandiose point look like it was an enabler of Lolly.
But there's also a different side of this that people probably weren't aware of. I saw all of this playing out. I wasn't planning on weighing in. None of this was my problem.
So there is another side to this, as you've said. I'm looking forward to hearing that. That should be fascinating, but not as fascinating as the next part, because this clip was shared all over Twitter and deemed the part where you threw your friend under a bus. If anyone's salivating or has their trousers off, you are in the right. If you're doing both, you've got a problem though.
But then my friend Tipster decided to call out Ethan Klein on Twitter for how he covered the entire situation that happened with Vaush.
Ethan Klein was in the right in this situation, and he mocked to high hell Vaush. We all did. Vaush deserved it. I can't imagine many thought otherwise. Oh, but context. Context. Even when Vaush provided the context, it didn't look any better. Vaush just tried to downplay his level of knowledge and amplify his level of ignorance, which speaks volumes about one of the largest political commentators in the online space. Ignorance is a prevailing quality within that circle.
And then when Ethan Klein responded, I was like, okay, I have 2 friends now who are getting put on blast by a really large content creator. I decided that I was going to get into the mud.
Firstly, and this is quite important, just because your friend has been called out by a larger creator does not mean that the friend being called out by the larger creator is in the right. It doesn't mean the person who is the bigger creator is in the wrong or is bullying. We all call out creators big or small. You on YouTube are not a big channel. You're smaller than mine. So am I punching down? No, because I firmly believe all voices, no matter how big or small your channel, are equal. You may have a larger influence because of what you've done, but that is something you have earned. And Vaush has a big audience, by the way. At times, it can be argued Vaush could have a bigger audience than H3H3, 100%. You added your voice to the wrong side to calm it down by being antagonistic. That's not how it works, and you know it. You know how Twitter works because you built your name off trying to ratio everyone. You antagonized.
Because I care about my friends. I don't want to see my friends getting attacked. That was a huge mistake. Hindsight is 2020. If I could go back and just let everything play out without getting involved, obviously I would have.
There is not a single person that is not one of your simps, so just tipster then, that believes what you just said there. Because honestly, I can fully believe if opportunity presented itself for you to get involved into another fight pointlessly, needlessly, you would do it, knowing it drums up additional attention for you, which you can milk for views. You can then get a bit extra out of it, then when it gets a bit too hot, put your head in the sand and ignore it for a while. Then come back and go, right, who are we going to ruck with next?
And I don't want to beat myself up that much because I think that my instinct to want to protect my friends when I see them getting attacked is a good one.
Are we sure about that? Because you went to bat and have immediately thrown your friend under the bus as the reason why you even got involved in the first place. I don't think you're as smart as you think you are.
Like, it shows that I really care about people. Caring about people and wanting to protect people, sometimes that's not always the greatest idea.
In the online space, you'll find apathy is a prevailing quality in favor of what you believe you have, and that is humanity, which I think you'll find there is yet again not a single person beyond your simp tipster believes that you possess an iota of.
And this entire situation has kind of made me reevaluate how I even feel about Vaush in the first place. To be completely honest, I don't really like him as much as I used to.
Also, it only took you a month to come to your senses and disavow. Optics-wise, that could be argued to be the reasonable position, had you done it several weeks ago, when you should have, for your own sake. Although you didn't need to back then, at all. Unless you were then called out for being a friend, you could have then said, hard disavow, moving on. That would have been sensible. But you went to bat, didn't you? So this disavow coming after everything's died off comes across as disingenuous, like a YouTube apology.
I actually feel hurt and let down by him.
I wonder if that was motivated by a Discord message we're going to see in the very near future.
The mistake that Vaush made, it was such an avoidable mistake. This is me being as charitable as possible, believing him when he said that he downloaded Lolly by mistake.
You are quite right that it was entirely avoidable if Vaush wasn't into Lolly. It's where you have pointed at it charitably, as you yourself reference it. You are correct if you're being charitable. Unfortunately, Vaush undoes it himself with his own claims of ignorance being the validity to his reasoning.
Even if that was 100% true, he could have avoided this. He didn't need to download porn on his work computer. That's just bizarre. And he put so many people whose livelihoods actually depend on him, in the crosshairs.
So in this, you are actually correct. Vaush did put, if he has any employees, in the direct line of fire. researchers, aides, ball coddlers, the usual, the standard stuff in this field. Additionally, you are correct, it shouldn't be on a work computer, although we're now glad it was on the work computer and visible because now we know what he really is. You learn something about somebody with these slips. I don't personally understand the point of saving crap like that into folders on computers. I really don't. But I'm sure someone's going to be in my comments saying, "You're lying, Meg." Thank you for being that person. I appreciate you and your right to freely speak and be incorrect at the same time.
Because of how reckless he is.
I feel like in the context of this entire conversation, that is a somewhat ironic statement to make.
And this entire situation just really soured me to even wanting to be part of his community, to be quite honest.
It's fascinating to me that that's what it took for you to realize that perhaps this was the wrong way to go about it. Although it could equally be possible you've only realized once the negativity started to wear off and you came to your senses, or you realized that the negativity was no longer benefiting you. All that hindsight, never enough foresight.
Because if he cared as much as he claimed, he would have taken more precaution with his actions to not have a situation like this blow up.
You're right. This could have all been avoided had Vaush not been into Lolicon, had Vaush not taken his work computer and decided to store it because generic folder where he stores random stuff to be organized, and because he loves that thick dick, which he himself has been quite open about. We responded to that last month.
And for people who were his friends and for people who wanted to defend him through this, they just got mercilessly dragged. Well, he stayed silent about the whole thing. And now he's moving on, and people are still giving me hate, not for my own actions, but for his.
So for the sake of it, I do not agree in guilt by association. I really don't. It's a rule I generally hold. However, you inserted yourself into this. Doesn't matter how you were inspired to do so, though you did allude to Tipster, something which Tipster took full responsibility for, because Tipster's a simp, and you're clearly his dom. You still get criticism. Hate, sure, call it whatever you like. Criticism is what I'm going to reference it as such, because that's what a lot of it is anyway. You're getting more of it as time passes because you are repeatedly picking the wrong side to fight for, because more and more people are digging into who you are, and because Kiwi Farms was right about you.
They're redirecting the hate onto me. Well, he's in his fortress and hasn't even tweeted on his Twitter since like February 18th. All of the lies and misinformation about me that started on Kiwi Farms, that culminated in the entirety of the events of 2022, got brought back to life as a result of this situation.
Yes, because it turns out you're a crappy individual that embezzled £100,000. Or was it dollars? You know, it doesn't really matter what the currency denomination is. You use some of it to fund a rather interesting lifestyle. You are a fraud, a hack, a grifter. You leech off of negativity for what you need to get by, and then you put your head in the sand when the spotlight is on yourself. In the context of what Vaush is doing exactly what everyone expects. Keep his head calm and to carry on, even though he is in the wrong and he knows it. But the internet will, certainly his audience will, give him that chance. You have had multiple chances and you're not really a YouTuber. Additionally, people are going to drag the past up because that's what happens. It points to a pattern of behavior on your part to reduce your impact as an authority on a discussion, one that is getting weaker by the day the more you speak as if you are an authority on something.
Because I wanted to defend my friend. I don't think if the roles were reversed, he would do the same for me.
Firstly, and this is quite important, if your friend is in the wrong, you shouldn't just blindly defend your friend. Second, no one cares if the roles were reversed whether Vaush would defend you. It is a deflection from the core issue itself, that deflection being to make you the center of attention. And surely by now you would have noticed, Vaush hasn't done much in the way of defending you at all really. So it's not a case of if the roles are reversed, although there are a number of discussions concerning a certain type of role reversal in Discord.
I reached out to him because I wanted to talk to him and he sent me an apology. I asked if I could call him and he said, "I'll be honest, I'm a little socially burnt out at the moment, so it might be a little bit before I'm willing to call. I do want to say though, how much I appreciate you speaking positively of me and how sorry I am that this was all turned around on you. I hope you know my decision to stay quiet was not at all a product of my indifference to your suffering. I just knew defending you would probably make things significantly worse for both of us. which is why I went quiet for a while as I did.
So there are a number of ways that message can be interpreted. We're not going to try and pose and theorize too negatively on it. For the sake of it, we'll say Vaush is being very professional in how he responds to Keffals, who undoubtedly would just want clarification and totally not pull him onto a live stream to discuss this publicly for clicks and subs.
Him not being in my corner through all of this didn't make it any worse for him, but it has hurt a lot going through all of this alone.
What on earth do you mean by alone? You had your greatest champion stand up for you, the Emperor's champion as it were, in the form of, well, Tipster. The verbal stud muffin that he is, no doubt went to bat for you at every available opportunity and totally didn't make things worse in the process. You were never alone, you just didn't have one of those big creators batting for you. Vaush did take his sweet ass time to respond to all of this, and when he did, it was a massive letdown. There could have been a tiny little bit of information in there, perhaps thanking those that defended him. Perhaps that could have been a better way to handle it, producing the content sooner after all. But the fact remains, his dogshit response didn't change anything, did it? And the criticisms levied at you were entirely because you're a narcissist who desperately wanted to be the center of attention under the guise of, I'm a friend.
So this video isn't a Vaush hate video. I think that Vaush is a complex person. Vaush has made a considerable amount of mistakes, to put it lightly, throughout his career. He's also done a lot of good with this community. He raised almost $300,000 for the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. That's commendable, and I think he should be given credit for that. It's just unfortunate that for many people, that's not going to be what he's remembered for.
That is because that is a false equivalence. In my country, we could champion Jimmy Savile for all the money he raised for charity over his career. It doesn't stop him from being a massive nonce that passed away believing himself a hero and unassailable, which he was because he was protected by the BBC and of course defund the BBC. I'm not now comparing Vaush to Savile, of course not. I'm pointing at an obvious false equivalence.
And I hope that all the people in my audience who are fans of him and his content can understand this and understand that I just kind of want to do my own little thing from now on. I don't want people to instantly associate my name with this community. It's been hard enough, the amount of people who have decided not to want to associate with me solely because of my association with him, up until this most recent controversy, which has made my life a living hell.
There's a lot to unpack in that. There really is. If people choose not to associate with you because of your association to Vaush because you didn't disavow Vaush, that seems pretty reasonable. If that's made your life a living hell, which again seems like you again making yourself the center of attention, I think you're forgetting 2022. I thought that made your life a living hell. Can't imagine why though. If anyone's worked out what the sniffing's about, congratulations.
Quite literally in the week before all of that happened, I was just saying, okay, I'm gonna wind down my content and I'm gonna try to focus on doing more story-based content, specifically in the horror genre, and I still plan to work on that. But I've just been kind of festering on these thoughts without even having an outlet to really express them.
I wonder how long till the horror community itself starts to ratio you on Twitter by using the very thing you rose to fame with against you. Jokes aside, perhaps it would be best you moved into a different community and developed into a different type of person and content creator. This is me being nice for a moment, you're all welcome. Because I of course want everyone to prosper as a creator, a streamer. Of course. Lazy content, no. But if you can be creative, imaginative, go nuts. You though, I can't imagine you would be able to stay away from the drama because you're a bit like a moth and a flame. You're just drawn to it and you keep on burning your wings.
And that's honestly why I'm putting this out here.
Well, you didn't do it for very long, because it's not on your channel anymore. You made it private, but it's okay, somebody got it and I obviously have it myself. Saved in my own personal vault of folder to be sorted spank bank response videos, because I'm a classy bitch and the internet is forever.
Because I feel like I just got punished for trying to be a good friend to someone. I feel hurt. I feel hurt. I don't want to defend this guy anymore. I wish him all the best, and I want everyone who's watching this, who's part of his community, to know that I don't hate him. I don't dislike any of you if you are part of his community or if you want to watch his content. I just don't want people to say the word Keffals and immediately associate it in their heads with Vaush anymore.
I might be able to help you here, Keffals. I don't think many immediately jump to associating you with Vaush. No, they associate it with a certain Discord server, they associate it with Kiwi Farms, they associate it with a GoFundMe, they associate it with Sherbet, they associate it with a number of things. The definition of what it means to be incorrect, and of course your alliance with your most glorious of warriors, Tipster. He's a unique kind of warrior. He is of the keyboard variety, and he's quit anime, everyone.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of Vaush fans who are going to watch this and start talking about Vaush derangement syndrome, but it's like, he's not above criticism. He's hurt a lot of people.
Vaush derangement syndrome. I feel like we can apply that to many creators who have followers who are so blinded by the glory and the halo that is the creator they follow, that it can be argued to be a form of derangement that they would back that creator repeatedly when they are in the wrong so much. So I guess the follow-up comment before we move on would be pot, kettle black, tipster.
Through his own recklessness. I've talked to countless people who are part of his community who have been hurt by this. There have been ramifications for the people who work with him.
Do you think there'll be as many ramifications for yourself making this video and then privating it so quickly after uploading it because of what you've called Vaush derangement syndrome perhaps, or because you realized the commentary community was going to notice that video and go, yo, Keffals has done a madness and we need to laugh about it?
For the people who are part of his community, some of them don't even feel comfortable saying they're a Vaush fan when they're meeting new people.
I'll be honest, telling anyone you're a fan of a YouTuber isn't some flex. So I don't think this point resonates as much as you might think it does.
It's a really shitty situation to be in, and it's a situation that he created through his own recklessness.
In the context of the Vaush situation, yes, Vaush is his own instrument of self-destruction. In the context of your involvement in it, you are too, because you just couldn't help yourself. There is an impulsive behavioral trait you are known for, and that impulsive behavioral trait has brought you where you are.
And I honestly thought better of him because he never seemed like a person who would make a fuck up this big. But we're here now. All of this happened, and I just don't know if I can feel the same way about him anymore.
How soon after this video's upload do you think Vaush contacted Keffals to clear the air and then this video became redundant because of it? Or how much blowback do you think Keffals got to then pull the video and make it private anyway? One does wonder, don't they?
As a result of what he did and of me wanting to be there to defend a friend when they were going through the ringer, I have faced so many ramifications for it, and I'm going to be facing more in the future. I'll give credit where credit's due. Vaush was smart to go quiet in the face of this controversy, which could have been a hell of a lot worse for him if he decided to post through it.
So if it was smart for Vaush to keep his mouth shut, what was it when you opened yours? Because you did live streams, you were tweeting left, right and center, not that I saw them directly, I am after all a lowly oik and therefore blocked. You made videos on it. You were very active, yeah? So what is it when you don't fall silent to play a different game for a change?
But unfortunately, this is just never gonna go away. For the rest of Vaush's career, this is going to be a cycle where it's going to continuously come back up over and over again.
This is true. It's called poisoning the well. Now that something like this has yet again resurfaced, because there have been many times over the years, all of which he addressed in his rather lengthy response video to the entire list of accusations involving children against him, it will continue to be used against him and tear at his presence and his impact as a voice for progressive politics.
The next time it comes up, I don't want to be put on blast because of things I had nothing to do with.
Oh, so it was this time the lesson was learnt, right? Okay. Well, we're glad we got to that point. Yeah, we're really... Well, we believe you. Yeah, we believe you.
I think I've also realized from this situation that you don't need to get involved in every single drama. You really don't.
That's very true. Unless you are a drama commentary YouTube channel. Drama commentary is quite lucrative as a business. Many look down upon it. I look down upon commentary as a whole, actually. And there's nothing wrong with looking down at it. I personally don't. I think there are many different types, and adding a voice to any discussion, I think, is always going to appeal to somebody. Nothing wrong with that in the slightest. Some could say, oh, but the political wing is more valuable than the drama wing. Perhaps in a discussion sense you might have a point, but then when you find one of those political commentators has pictures of animated children on their computer, it's more lucrative to be a drama YouTuber.
I don't think Tipster should have got involved. I think that was really stupid. What could you have possibly thought the outcome of doing a public call out on Ethan Klein would have been? Honestly. Like, I know you want to defend the people that you like, but sometimes you just gotta sit back. You don't always need to get directly in the fucking mud.
Yes, he wasn't done chastising Tipster. He will be demoted. He will be one of the lesser favoured of Nurgly Keffals for a time before re-earning that vaunted label of first chosen. I should also insert that, to an extent, Keffals is actually correct. It should though be noted, Tipster knew exactly what he was doing. He knew what he was doing when he goaded H3H3. He knew Ethan Klein was going to see that.
And I would be lying if I said that I don't like drama. I love slop. I'm a slopmeister. I am 100% the operator of a slopateria. But I don't want to be directly in the slop.
Well, here you've made a mistake then. Your natural inclination towards drama is actually a personality trait that would invariably get you caught up in drama. If you had a bit more indifference, you'd be okay. But you surround yourself with others who are also, like yourself, a slopmeister? Is that what you call it? Not just for drama, but because they're also disgusting people.
And I'm not going to stop doing commentary on various happenings around the internet, but I don't want to be directly involved in it, especially when it has nothing to do with me. So if anything, that's my big takeaway from this situation. So with that said, thank you for watching. If you made it this far into the video, I really hope you had an open mind and understood where I'm coming from.
I did fully understand where you were coming from because I watched the entire video without interrupting you first. I'm going to state though, I think you're talking a load of bollocks. You're welcome. I'm doing my bit for humanity here by dissecting videos of people who think themselves smarter than they actually are. Something which I made earlier a point. You might attribute that to a mental health condition, which in your own comments to other videos you do mention why you speak slowly, for example. As an Englishman who speaks quite slowly by nature, we don't call it a condition or align it with something else. No, we're just stupid. But we're very open with our stupidity. I'm very impressed that you removed this video so soon after uploading it, and I'm very impressed that you have become more of a active creator on YouTube of late, instead of a streamer which you have yourself announced you are not streaming anymore anyway. This is an interesting time to be Keffals. But Keffals, if Keffals wants to succeed, needs to learn to be careful Keffals. For Keffals to prosper, Keffals needs to learn restraint and to stop being so damn sensitive.